They could never make blazing saddles today. It is, without a doubt, the most repeated cliché in film history. Every single time Mel Brooks' 1974 masterpiece comes up in conversation, everyone nods solemnly and agrees that modern audiences are just too fragile to handle it. But here is the twist. That argument is fundamentally wrong. In fact, it completely misses the entire point of the movie. Yes, blazing saddles absolutely could not be made today. But it is not because the world is too politically correct. It is because modern Hollywood has completely forgotten how to make satire this smart, this risky, and this morally laser-focused. Today, we are diving deep into the chaotic, brilliant history of the greatest comedy ever written to find out why the quote-unquote too offensive crowd is wrong, how Mel Brooks tricked a major movie studio, and the real reasons this masterpiece remains entirely unrepeatable. To understand why Blazing Saddles works and why it still holds a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes today, you have to understand who the joke is actually on. People who look at the film superficially only hear the constant use of racial slurs and shock humor. But Brooks was not using shock value to mock minorities. He was using a brilliant, impeccably dressed black hero to systematically expose the absolute brainless absurdity of white supremacy and traditional Western movie tropes. There is a golden rule in comedy writing. Who is the target? Are you punching down or are you punching up? Mel Brooks did not punch down a single time. He punched up sideways and right into the jaw of systemic bigotry. Look at how the characters are framed. The villains, like Hedley Lamarr and Governor Lepitomany, are bumbling, greedy, corrupt white politicians. In one of the most famous lines of the movie, the Waco Kid comforts Sheriff Bart by telling him that the townspeople are just simple farmers. He calls them the common clay of the New West before bluntly concluding that they are, quote, morons. The townspeople are depicted as narrow-minded, easily manipulated idiots. Meanwhile, the hero, Sheriff Bart, is consistently the coolest, smartest, and most sophisticated person in every single room he walks into. He survives not by violence, but by outsmarting a system designed to crush him. Think about the scene where Bart literally exploits the town's racism to save his own life by holding a gun to his own head. The joke is not on Bart. The joke is on the collective stupidity of the crowd. If you made this exact movie today with the exact same targets, modern audiences would not cancel it. They would celebrate it as a biting critique of institutional racism. So if the content itself is not the roadblock, why could it not be made today? The first major reason is structural. Hollywood's entire business model has changed from a creative gamble into a calculated financial math equation. Let us look at the history. In 1974, Warner Brothers executives absolutely hated this movie when they saw the rough cut. The head of the studio, Leo Greenfield, wanted to bury it completely. They demanded that Mel Brooks cut the infamous campfire scene. They wanted him to remove the racial slurs. They wanted him to replace Cleavon Little with a more established actor. Do you know what Mel Brooks did? He smiled, nodded, took notes, and then threw those notes directly into the trash. Because his contract gave him the holy grail of Hollywood, final cut privilege. He had total creative control and the studio could not touch a single frame. Fast forward to today, major studios no longer allow single, chaotic directors to have that kind of unchecked power over multi-million-dollar properties. Movies today are greenlit by corporate committees. They are sanitized by legal departments, scrutinized by brand management teams, and altered based on focus groups and test screenings. Modern Hollywood is obsessed with the global box office, especially international markets, where highly localized, culturally specific American satire simply does not translate. If a writer walked into a major studio today with a script like Blazing Saddles, it would not get rejected because it is offensive. It would get rejected because a corporate algorithm would flag it as a volatile financial asset. It would be watered down by 50 different executives before a single camera even started rolling. The second reason is the loss of the writer's room weapon. Blazing Saddles was not just the product of one man's brain. Mel Brooks put together a radical, deeply mismatched team of writers. We are talking about Andrew Bergman, Norman Steinberg, Alan Uger, and most importantly, the legendary Richard Pryor. Originally, Mel Brooks wanted Richard Pryor to play Sheriff Bart, but the studio refused to insure Pryor due to his unpredictable reputation and struggles with addiction. Instead of walking away, Brooks kept Pryor on as a co-writer, and Pryor became the moral anchor of the script. Whenever the white writers in the room were terrified of going too far with the racial dialogue, Pryor was the one who pushed them further. He told them that if they were going to tell the truth about the Old West, they had to use the language of the Old West. Pryor brought a raw, dangerous, and authentic black perspective to the systemic absurdities being mocked. It created a beautiful, friction-filled creative environment. BR. Brooks and Pryor challenged each other, argued, and found the exact razor-thin edge of comedy. Compare that to the modern comedy writing process. Today, writers' rooms are often highly synchronized environments where conformity is safe and conflict is avoided to protect corporate job security. We rarely see studios assemble rooms with that level of unfiltered, raw, and conflicting creative friction. Without a Richard Pryor to ground the perspective, a modern attempt at this script would either feel incredibly toothless or genuinely mean-spirited. But there is a third, perhaps darker reason why Blazing Saddles belongs strictly to the 1970s, and it has everything to do with us, the audience. We currently live in an era of cultural literalism. Media literacy is at an all-time low. Somewhere along the line, a massive portion of the theater-going public forgot how irony works. Today, audiences routinely mistake the depiction of a bad thing for the endorsement of that bad thing. If a character says something racist, sexist, or terrible in a movie today, a vocal segment of the internet immediately assumes the filmmaker shares those views. We see it all the time with modern movies where audiences attack a film simply because they dislike the moral behavior of the protagonist. Blazing Saddles relies 100% on the audience's ability to understand irony. It trusts you to know that when a character is being a bigot, the movie is laughing at them, not with them. In a landscape where nuance is frequently flattened into 15-second sound bites for social media outrage, launching a high-level satirical movie is a massive, terrifying gamble that most modern filmmakers simply do not want to take. In its final 20 minutes, Blazing Saddles did not just break the rules of the Western genre, it completely shattered the rules of cinema itself. It looked the audience dead in the eye and reminded them that it was all a construction. It proved that comedy could be chaotic, offensive, and deeply moral all at the exact same time. So let us put the old cliche to rest. They could never make Blazing Saddles today. But it is not because the world changed or because people got too soft. It is because Hollywood lost its nerve, traded artistic risk for corporate safety, and lost the vocabulary for true satire. But hey, that is just one perspective. What do you think? Is Blazing Saddles still the undisputed king of movie comedies? Or has time finally caught up to it? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into cinema history, and I will see you next week.